Yes, it's that season where kids are coughing left and right and they're bringing home sickies from school and getting everyone else sick in the house. And that's just the way it is this season, especially when you have kids that go to school. It's nasty. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to share with you how I use YouTube and the many profound people on YouTube to gain insight and clarification on something that I'm seeking an answer for. There are so many people out there that have so much knowledge and wisdom, and like you, honey, yes, and other people, and they are thankfully sharing it with the world on YouTube. And so I make a point to seek out YouTube and find the ones that are actually zeroing in on the spiritual power that we have, that we can obtain as human beings, as people that pursue God, and just that spirituality, being close, being one with the divine, right? So there are people that are really in tune, more so than others, that are in tune with your frequencies, with your energy. For example, there's one lady who's an astrologer, Starseed 777 or something. Her readings are so on point. Like, she is in tune with Aries, and she'll even talk about it, that she has this connection with Aries more than the other signs. Because of that, her readings that she does strictly for Aries are nearly always accurate. I would say always accurate, just in a different sense that even she was trying to communicate. Like, you're gonna get a job offer and blah blah blah, when that actually ends up being like a proposal or something that had nothing really to do with job, but just had to do with communion and a connection. But it was still, you were getting something that had some form of a connection to it. And if you know how to seek these people out, know how to kind of screen them yourself, then you can start utilizing their wisdom for yourself as well, for your own gain, for your own studying and trying to find out answers for yourself in your life, etc. And it's important to have more than one, because you have to compare. So I always start out with a good handful of 5 or more astrologers that are out there. And typically, but not always, the ones that have more of an established, like, million followers are not going to be as accurate. I think you end up losing the connection that you otherwise have for one-on-one or more accuracy, because it's become such a, I don't know, superficial process. Some that doesn't matter. You could tell, regardless of their views and their traffic, they are always on point and in tune with the divine. But you can also tell the ones that are just like cinematic or whatever. Everything looking pretty and saying the right thing, like never anything negative. Come on, I mean, really? So gather about 5 different people to compare. The ones that are just being positive, sack them. They are not going to be accurate all the time, if ever, because that's not life. And I think you and I both know that life can fucking suck sometimes. And the reality of it is, that's just the reality of it. So it's important to have people that are just not just trying to get clicks, support, views. Thank you. You made me feel so good. Like, a lot of people will just say nice, happy-go-lucky stuff. It's like that mega church pastors on TV that preach nothing but roses and beauty and God's love and forgiveness, but have no, like, hey, you need to think deeper. God doesn't like sin, or God doesn't like this. It's never more nitty gritty in your face, as we should always be testing and pushing ourselves and our striving to be good people. Sometimes we need that challenge. Same with astrology and getting insight. Sometimes it involves some negativity, and that sucks sometimes, but sometimes it's needed. It really helps you on your path in the long run. Like, you didn't get the job, this door's closing, but that just means other doors are opening up elsewhere. That means that divine has a bigger plan for you. Something like that, right? Something that's not just straight positive. You got the job. Yes, you got this in the bag. It's going to come to you within 24 hours. Let's try to steer away from people like that. Because again, it's all about views. And a lot of people just want to have a pep talk. People want them to make them feel better. And unfortunately, that's not reality all the time. Sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes you just need to hear shit you don't want to hear because you might be the one that's putting a wrench in something in your plan that you're trying to create. You might be the problem. There's been plenty of times where I was a problem to an issue that I was having, and I didn't figure that out until much later, until God was like, dude, can you not see? Change this. You are the problem. Sometimes we need to hear that. So steer clear from people that are just 100% always positive. Have a clear message on what you're needing advice from. Very clear. Like, be specific, but also be open to the bigger picture. Like, for example, you want a new job. You want to expand out of your career. You want to build or climb the ladder. So you're applying for a bunch of places and you're waiting to hear back. And then maybe that's not the plan. Maybe God's going to have someone give you promotion in your current job. Maybe your boss that's toxic is going to get fired or replaced or retire, and you don't have to go anywhere. And then things change from that. So you don't know what God has planned. So if you just pray or seek guidance for someone saying, you're going to get the job, they're going to call you back, blah, blah, blah. But it might not end up being that way. It just might be that God gives you a promotion or the supervisor leaves or something. Something gets fixed internally. You have to be open to that bigger picture, a bigger scenario, something different happening than what, am I going to get the new job or not, right? You know what I mean? It's like when people open the Bible and they're like, let me point to a scripture and God will tell me something with this scripture. And then they open their eyes and it's like, go take your kid out and stone them to death for being brats. Whip them, which is in the Bible. See, that's not like, oh, I'm going to go do that now. It's like there's people that are that stupid. Don't be that stupid. Be open to all the wisdom that's out there. Most of the time, you learn something every time. When you're seeking something wholeheartedly, you come out of it learning something that wasn't that great of learning experience, but it was necessary for what you ended up getting and achieving. I built the life that I have, and it took actual blood, sweat, and tears, and suffering, and humility, being humiliated, getting run, getting beat up, getting thrown in the gutter, having my name smeared, rumors and lies, twisted stories, homelessness, abandonment, rejection. It took all of that to have what I have today. But as my mom said, the truth will always come out. The truth always wins. So if you're truly innocent, Shauna, it will always come out and you will keep winning. And I did. I kept winning and I keep winning because I am the one that is striving to live good and righteous and be a good human being, own my mistakes, but move on and grow and evolve. Not stay the same, not stay stagnant, not be a nobody that doesn't change or have any kind of difference of a viewpoint than they had the other day. I always evolve into a better version of myself that I was the day before, right? All of our goals should be that. We all need to be open-minded to receiving things that we might not think is what's in the plan, in the cards, but it ends up being the case. My last advice is I've always found it hard with manifesting because you really have to talk as if it's yours and then it'll be yours. But have you ever done that and it not end up being yours, but you were convinced that you were full-heartedly believing that it was yours? Like you really were. No one can tell you you weren't living life as if it was yours already because you were and it still didn't happen. So what the fuck? That happens a lot. That's reality. And it's not something we should just ignore and bury and pretend doesn't happen because it happens a lot. When it does happen, it's It's a killjoy. It really kills your motivation. It makes you feel defeated. It makes you feel like, why do I bother? Like, I knew it. It makes you pessimistic. So as someone who has CPTSD, it was the hardest thing for me to grasp and understand and work through when it came to manifesting, because I really didn't like being disappointed and knowing that everything was saying, this is yours, it's in the bag, and then it not happen, even though like you backed it up and confirmed with a bunch of other sources and it still didn't happen. That's when you really need to take a step back and look at a bigger picture here. That's when the divine is trying to say something very direct, very personal, and probably wants you to take this very serious so you can fight through, work through all the details on this thing that you're wanting to manifest. It is probably a bigger thing, right? The bigger they ask, the harder the work to really get it. Or, what are you doing? So don't feel defeated. Don't feel pessimistic. I get it. I've been there and it's so easy to do. Just try to resist that. When you want something and you feel like you've done everything in your power to obtain it and it's still not work out, that means that that was not supposed to happen. And if you did get what you wanted and it wasn't supposed to be for you, you would have taken a big detour throughout your life. And so that would have added on God knows how many years to your life's purpose, right? So we have to look at it that way. And usually that is why. There is no other way around it. If you really truly wanted something, you just didn't honestly know what the price would have been if you actually got it, or that it actually wasn't that good for you. And we don't usually see it that way. We just feel like rejected or disappointed, when honestly it's because it wasn't supposed to happen for your own protection.